So I did that. I ordered my first Nindo, and of course it's
Yes!
Dobby.
Of
I
course it's
pre-ordered the Dobby
Bobby.
Nindo.
God, I want a
Uh,
Tamaki Nendo so bad, but we're probably never gonna get him because no one loves him.
I mean, you love him.
Yeah, I love him. Oh,
You love him.
apparently we're live now.
Yeah, I hit the button.
Oh yeah. No, I just got the email and it's just like you're live. Oh, really? Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello from the
Welcome to the
void.
Yaoi Shelf. Grab a seat and relax. We are talking about our purchases, but we will also be talking about is this fetishizing gay men?
Oh, I'm
Hello,
so
hello,
tired.
hello. We are happy to be
I
here.
just listened back to the main episode just to kind of
Yes.
refresh my memory a little bit just
Yes.
while I was setting up. And I'm tired.
Yeah. Also, I made a joke at the end saying that the series is over. It is not over. You cannot get rid of us. I was tired. It was 7 o'clock in the morning.
I appreciate your service. Is my mic still
Yeah.
good because I lowered it?
Yeah, it's still fine.
Yeah, okay, good.
Mine, you're only a podcaster when you can see the microphone. So, of course, mine is still conspicuously in frame, though I don't have it facing outward so that you can see it's a Yeti blue microphone. Because that's
Oh,
how you know you're a real podcaster, is when everyone can see your exact same fucking Yeti microphone.
I'm sorry for being a fake podcaster then.
No, it's okay. Everyone else is a fake podcaster too. No
Okay.
podcasters are real podcasters. It's not real. It's not.
I
But
mean, I'm
welcome.
not arguing. Hello.
But welcome, hello. Yeah, I've also recently re-listened to the episode, and oh boy, like it's. I think it's honestly one of our best,
It's so good.
because we didn't talk.
Yeah, exactly. Because we didn't say anything.
Because
We
we
just
didn't have to
agreed.
say, yeah, like we didn't say, like at first I was like, kind of like, oh crap, like we really did not add to this conversation, and it's like because I didn't have to. There was nothing
No.
to add. Like he said it in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, but it's kind of like what you say in the beginning of the episode. You're like, you
Mhm.
just said so succinctly in 10 minutes what we would have spent 2 hours saying, not as
two
well.
hours and not as all eloquently, because I
Oh,
think
yeah.
the big issue with this topic, and because it's just us, Dr. Thomas is very busy, so he could not join us. uh he's busy doing actual scholar things. uh is we come at this from a completely different perspective of really just being frustrated at it.
Yeah. And I mean,
Which, yes.
while we do have some academic looks on it, because we read,
Mhm.
we
We
read,
do.
we read academic journals, we read research, we follow
We
all of
do.
these. Hello, hello, hello. Yes,
that
that's
was
us.
that was me.
I know, but I thought you were saying hello to someone. I was like, did I miss something? No, but we read academic work, but
We
we're
do.
not but we're not the ones doing research on it. And
No.
and as we mentioned in the main episode as well, because this is something that is honed in on so much, we also aren't the target group that quote unquote should be discussing this, because there is an opinion that
Hmm.
it should be a discussion that is dominated by gay men because
Hmm.
they are the ones being fetishized.
Right, absolutely. And, I definitely do want to lead with that, neither of us are gay men. So we do have, and that's something, again, that we mentioned during the episode, is
Yeah.
that's usually one of the things that's thrown against us when people like Corolla and I or other Fujin, especially of the Fujoshi variety, have this conversation is,
Mm.
well, you're not gay men. You don't have an opinion on this. And while that is true, it does feel very, very limiting. And also, to go back to the main crux of the episode, that a lot of it's just fancy misogyny.
Yep.
I was on TikTok earlier because, of course, I was,
Oh
and
no.
there was a TikTok. Listen, there was a TikTok that said it's only sodomy if it comes from the Sodom and Gomorrah region of Mesopotamia. Everything else is sparkling butt stuff.
I
And
mean,
I've never been so in love. It's
I
only
mean,
sodomy if it comes from the Sodom and Gomorrah region of
but I've
Mesopotamia.
been wondering
Everything
about that.
else,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
everything else is sparkling butt stuff. Um, But to say that, we don't have anything to say in this conversation, well, you're right from a representation standpoint. Cis and not so cis women don't have a lot to say. That fetishization is something that I think is very, very easily flipped on its head when we talk about Yuri and women loving women relationships, that we don't see that kind of fervor to defend, almost like it's misogyny.
Almost.
Almost. Yeah, 5 minutes in, we just come in swinging.
What you think?
but like almost like misogyny is the problem.
And I'm
yes.
also thinking, because another thing that Dr. Thomas said is that, he can do, at the very end, he said that, he, no matter how many podcasts he did, no matter how many, interviews or books or whatever, there's always going to be someone coming at him like, and arguing that, but you're a fan. So like, even if you are an academic, even if you are a gay man, even if you have all the right credentials to be having the discussion, there's still a preconceived notion that the genre is inherently bad, and they're still going to come at you with just a different form of arguments, because then it is, oh, but you're a fan. Oh, but you're just making excuses. As if it isn't possible to be having a critical conversation while, to be aware of, the pitfalls, while also appreciating the research and the good. And they just wanna, it's just misogyny, it's just preconceived ideas of BL is bad. That's what it is.
Right. And I love that Dr. Thomas brought in that whole kind of like, especially like that Japan factor in it, that there is still so much negative stigma about anything that comes out of Japan. That it is all like sort of tainted by this like sexual deviance that the West and Western purity culture perceives, which I will never forget this. I was the president of the anime club when I was in high school, because of course I was. And I was in the student council, like Oron High School fucking host club. I was in the student council because I was a student body president. And I will never forget this happening. I had one of the jocks, like one of the football guys, come up like, hey, can you get me some of that Asian porno? And I'm just like, sir, we were in theater earlier and you said that you thought we wiped Japan off the map during World War II. So no, I'm not going to get you hentai. Because while I can get it, of course I can. It's the internet. You also can get it.
Yeah.
I don't have a magical pipeline to Japan because I'm the Japanese club president. I don't have like a magical pipeline now to Japan. That's not what happens.
Are you sure?
I fucking wish. I wouldn't be using it for that jock's hentai if I did.
I know, and it's like, if you did, you don't think you would have used it for something more productive? Right? I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't have used it for anything productive. Let's not give too much credit to me at 15, 16 years old.
I mean, productive, as in, you could.
Oh, for my agenda. Okay, yes.
Yeah, for your agenda.
Yes.
And potentially, setting up your own little shady business where you're providing other people. You could have been one of the fandom providers.
So there's a fanzine that's coming out that's just Jinan from My Hero Academia, the very, very sketchy broker. And of course I want it because I love that sketchy old man. And the idea of me being... He is not the worst sketchy old man that I like.
I didn't say that.
But I love that obvious pimp and coke dealer who has clearly fucked Dobby in an alley.
I mean... Save it for the side character love episode.
I love that greasy old man so much. I have so many questionable tastes.
Do you have... It's like, but your type is just like...
Shut up.
I'm sorry.
My type is shut your mouth. It's what my type is.
If only they would. It's fine.
I don't know what it is anymore.
That was directed at Joel. It's just a part of me that's just like, God, just shut your mouth.
I tried to connect all the threads.
And it just keeps getting worse. Like, this hole you're
digging. Jiren is not the worst.
No, I was thinking of Tucker. because
He was a
I
very good father for most of his child's life.
that
He
was a very
provided,
short life.
she had a good 3.5, 4 years. He had to
Dear
provide for that
God.
child, and he did what he had to do. It's been 10 minutes and you're judging me. We were having a nice time. You're judging me
I can't. I'm sorry.
because I said I
Oh
liked the
God.
sketchy cocaine dealer from My Hero Academia.
It wasn't because it was just the way you said it, okay? It's just
Like,
the proclamation of I love
I
that greasy old man. That
I
was kind of
do.
the
I
yeah.
do. When Skeptic is fucking straddling him and punching him in the face, yeah, give me that. Give me that 15 times over.
You know, there's a part of me that's like, are we even watching the same series? Because I genuinely can't remember any of this. I just I don't.
I do feel a lot of that with My Hero Academia, especially because like I'm in the background lurking really, really hard. And when I talk to other people, it's like, oh yeah, like that one scene that Izuku was doing something. I'm like, oh, I forgot he was the main character.
But you know what I do?
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
even.
like if you talk to me about My Hero Academia, it's just cheers with the League of Villains. I can tell you everything about Dabi and Shigaraki and Compress and Kurogiri. Ask me anything about Izuku, I could not tell you jack or shit.
But it's like I'm over here. Oh, hello.
Hello!
Hello.
Welcome! You get to catch us at our work.
And why is it always like this? It's been 10 minutes and we're just like, no, what I'm saying is, meanwhile, I'm just over here like, where is Tamaki? Where is Tamaki? And then he's like in the back
Yeah, he's
trying
in the
to
back.
disappear into a
Like
wall. And I'm like,
he's over
oh,
here
look at my
somewhere.
boy.
My baby. Yeah. No, like honestly, if you ask me anything about like fucking Tenya, I could not tell you anything about him. I couldn't tell you anything about Ochako. I couldn't tell you anything about any of the main
Hello.
confused noises. Like I couldn't tell anything about main cast. I could tell you the size barbell Dobby has in his nose piercing.
Oh, of course.
Shut up.
I'm not even judging you. I'm just.
I could give you encyclopedic information about what inseam Endeavor has to have his pants fit. I could do that. I could not tell you anything about what the main cast is even in existence for. We're watching two different series.
I mean, but it's true though. But I always watch, different shows than everyone else anyway. I'll be.
Yeah, that's true. In your version, Sasuke and Naruto remain gay for each other.
What do you mean my version? That is literally what that show is about. You can't. I don't
Stop putting that shit on my timeline because I keep getting.
I can't. It's just. When I did my panel at Turucon, I didn't mean to go so hard, but
Yes, you did.
it was there in front of me, and
Yes,
before I know it, I sort of went off on a tangent, but the room loved it, but I was just like,
of course they did.
I was making a point, and then all of a sudden, I hear myself screaming, "Sasuke!" I'm like, okay, I'm fine.
You're such a nerd.
I'm very
But, okay.
professional.
We were getting somewhere.
Yeah,
so,
we were actually doing really well. I hope
for 10 minutes.
I hope someone actually was there for it because it was such a good beginning, and then
devolved. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything that was punchy. If you would like to bring up anything about the episode, if you have any questions that we can answer, if you'd like to join us in simping for Dr. Thomas, he's so brilliant.
He's so brilliant.
And Dr. Kirsten followed us on Twitter as well. Like, I really would like to make like academic like trading cards, like baseball cards that we could have.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Do you have like just the level of simping was so high. It was very, very fun. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, you want to talk about the episode, that's partly what we're here to do. I can show off some of the Ita bags that I've been working on because that's been what's taking up too much of my money and time.
I can bring
September,
you anecdotes from my convention
ToryCon.
adventure.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
September is Corolla's anniversary. She's been doing this for 1 year,
Wow. What?
a whole year.
A whole year.
I'm
It's
so
really weird.
impressed. It does feel weird. I am.
How?
I know, right? I know, right?
It's been
It's
a year.
crazy. No, it's fantastic. I'm so happy that Corolla decided to listen to me for some reason when I said, "Hey, we should do this thing."
I mean, I didn't listen to anyone else, that's for sure, because literally everybody I talked to were like, don't do it. You don't have the energy. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And they were like, of course you are.
But yes, one next month, 1 year ago, Corolla decided I would like to be a part of this crazy adventure with you, and
Yeah.
a new chapter of the Yaoi Shelf was born. Arguably, I think one of the best chapters we ever had. I found scissors.
Put the sisters down. Put them down. Thank you.
You're not my mom.
No.
Why are you yelling at me?
Because I feel like, we always get
You're
really
not my
hinged
mom.
and you don't need to run around with scissors.
Also, I now am the owner of a miniature. Come on, camera, of a miniature Hawk's body pillow.
Oh my god, look at him.
He's a very, very good boy. He's a very good boy. I would love to be able to make one of these, but we don't have anyone that we feel comfortable sexualizing on the show.
No.
Please do not sexualize us.
Ugh, no. Why would anyone want to sexualize us though? Like we're not, as you stated,
I have some unfortunate news for you, Corolla.
we're not.
There's this thing called the internet.
I'm just saying, this is the Yaoi Shelf. The two of us are hardly
It's a compact mirror
what of what?
of Hawks with his face on
Oh
it.
yeah, I couldn't.
It's from the
see.
Hawk zine that I purchased.
Of
But
course.
yeah, I now have a listen.
I didn't say anything. It's just
Encyclopedic information on 5 characters, and I can tell you nothing else about the rest of the cast. But yeah, we had an amazing time talking to Dr. Thomas. Genuinely one of the most brilliant human beings that I've ever spoken to. I definitely think it's top 5 of one of my favorite episodes.
It is such a good episode.
The show, and I'm excited to talk about it with all of you. I'm excited to really see where this kind of stuff takes us, because it is something that I know I'd love to do more of, is talking to academics. It's talking to other people, collaborating more. I'm not hinting at anything.
If you know any academics or anyone we should collaborate with,
yeah, if you are an academic and you listen to that episode and you thought, hey, those nerds are okay.
Those nerds aren't that annoying, and
those nerds aren't that bad. Our DMs are open. You are welcome to slide into them. But yeah, I honestly, listening to that episode was great. I do love also that he mentioned the comfort of neoliberalism, because that's something that I'm living every day in America right now, is this sort of like deathly comfort of neoliberalism that, oh, we don't have to worry about Roe v. Wade. We don't have to worry about gay rights. We don't have to worry about interracial marriage. They'd never threaten interracial marriage. And like all of those things are on the chopping block for October.
I don't understand what is happening over there.
We collective, not we individual. And moreover, we, the Electoral College, so not even we, the individual, because we have the Electoral College. I don't have time to explain the Electoral College.
No, I know what it is, because I had an exam on this thing, and I was like...
So we, Electoral College, voted in a fascist, and the fascist was bad, as fascists tend to be. And the fascist, despite all of his dumb bad ideas, had a very smart bad idea, which is pack the Supreme Court with people that agree with the dumb fascist. And he did that. And the Supreme Court, because it's dumb, has lifetime appointments. So these people that are only in their 30s, 40s, 50s are going to be here for a while. And now, even though the fascist is gone, though he may run again for president in a couple of years.
Can I just point out, like, just, small European comment? You call that a democracy? Not you, but like, the collective you. That's not a democracy. That's not how a democracy works.
I'm going to sip this cold beverage.
Anyway, that's not BL, but Dr.
No.
Thomas.
But I love that he brought that up, because that's, again, something that I'm seeing all the time. And I had this conversation in another BL server, that so much of this stuff really is something just moved in my kitchen.
I heard, and I was about to say, oh, your cat, but you don't have a cat.
Hello, demon.
It got better. Oh, maybe it's Horus again. Horus is with us.
But that so much of this is wrought from privilege. It's, and I hate making it an age thing, but it is an age thing. These kids have all these words that we just didn't have. They have all of this technology,
but
and
they're
all this
empty
time.
words.
Well, they weren't always empty words.
Well, they are now.
Yeah, they weren't always empty words. They've made them empty, and now they're mad that they've made them empty. You see that also, like, with cultural appropriation, which is another term that was used to death. And now no one fucking knows what cultural appropriation means.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like it's an incredibly individual response to things, but also everything is culturally appropriative. Like, I sure do have a lot of Japanese artifacts for not being Japanese. Is this appropriation to someone? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it is. I don't know who that person is. This fan is actually my name written in Chinese characters that I got at the Lunar New Year Festival. Is this appropriative to someone? I'm certain it is. But it's been used to death now, so no one really knows or cares what it means anymore. You just say it and then it dies. But I did love that it also, because there's a conversation about privilege and about optics that definitely needs to be brought up in a lot of these conversations, because it also isn't just minimizing at other queer people. Just like with most things on the internet, it disproportionately affects women and people of color.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that I don't think we could have gone into more detail on with Dr. Thomas, mostly because I was tired and I couldn't add in the obligatory as a Black. But one thing that I think we don't talk about enough in these instances is how disproportionately this stuff affects women and people of color. And Corolla and I have this joke that I've been a part of a giant long con, because everyone is convinced that I'm just in this giant long con. The amount of men that I've dated that have said, oh, you're not really an anime fan. You're not really a cosplayer. You're only doing this for attention.
I don't understand.
The amount of lesbians that have said my bisexuality is a long con.
Mm-hmm.
I am the master of long cons.
Yeah,
I really am.
At this point, you're just like, going for the record.
Yep. But there are Black Fujin. Shocking, right?
Shocking.
Right, shocking.
I didn't realize. It's not like I follow any of them or anything.
Right. It's not like some of them aren't very influential creators. It's not like we aren't out and doing stuff. We exist, and this stuff does also disproportionately affect us. It disproportionately affects women because, again, it's usually gay men and trans men yelling at women, which, again, what's so frustrating is that the call is coming from inside of the house.
Yeah.
It's one thing when it was back in the day and it was dumb Tumblr woke activist women who thought that they were helping and they weren't helping. The call's coming from inside of the house.
Yeah. And you know, it's like we briefly touched upon it. Like neither of us were gonna mention it, but Dr. Thomas brought up certain web comics that are turned into Netflix series, and you know, and if you look at the debate today, what we see is, and I mentioned this in my panel as well, because I want you better believe I was paraphrasing Dr. Thomas in that panel. I was like, listen here, children, but that you know, if you take like not only Heartstopper, like look at Boyfriends, right? Boyfriends is getting all this hate because it's uber cute, and then all of a sudden it's bad representation because it's portraying all gay men as being fluffy, cute, and you know, not having a sexuality. But if you portray them with a sexuality, then it's fetishization. You're doing it wrong, and then you have this idea that someone is making the rules and someone is saying that you can only portray gay content in one specific way, which doesn't even exist because clearly they don't even agree with themselves. And then you have all of these misunderstandings about what BL is, what the genre is, what the point of the genre is, that is constantly being reappropriated and perpetuated by people who don't know what it is. So then you have people like the Heartstopper author who are out there essentially using words they don't know what means because, you know, she's been told that BL is so and so and it's bad because that's the trendy language. And then she passes it on because she doesn't know any better, because she should have educated herself before. And I really, really, truly enjoy the Heartstopper comic. I think it's super cute. I really enjoy it. Again, decided to go and fall in love with some side characters that no one cares about because that's me. But I don't agree. I think that sometimes you gotta normalize the idea of, hey, I don't know enough about this conversation to take part in it because I don't want to perpetuate misunderstandings by saying something that I don't know anything about. And that is such a huge part of this discussion right now, that people don't know what it is. They aren't familiar with the yaoi ronso. They aren't familiar with the gay versus homo debate in Japan in the 80s and 90s. And they aren't familiar with fandom history or queer history. And then you get this.
Well, and that's, if you've listened to me panel, this is something that I whinge about very frequently, is I try my best not to have a very like uber nostalgic view of the old ways, because the old ways weren't great. As much as we both talk about how great our experiences were back in the 2000s, they were fraught with problems. Yes, there were absolutely creepy adults in spaces that shouldn't have been there. Yes, we all saw porn way too young. No one cared about our mental health. Some of us were even actively glorifying suicide, rape, a lot of sketchy stuff. Were there bad aspects? Yes. But one thing that we had were elders that made us go back and learn. So we didn't create this sort of, you know, self-eating snake of bullshit. Well, because that's what it is.
I know.
I don't give the Heartstopper creator that much credit. I honestly, it kept me from continuing reading it or watching it. She's a grifter as far as I'm concerned. She found something that gave her enough buzzwordy attention by basic ass hoes and ran with it. I don't think she knows what the fuck she's talking about.
No, of course she doesn't.
She's a grifter like the rest of them. Episodes just drop.
Everyone, yeah, no, okay.
Everyone just like, I think I do not give her any of that grace, any of that humility. I give her none of it. She is a goddamn grifter.
No, but I mean,
Yes.
I'm not saying that I disagree with you. I'm just saying that as far as the comic goes, I enjoy the comic. I have no idea I have no idea what her motivation is or whatever, but I
Sure.
absolutely think she has no idea what she's talking about, and
Yeah,
therefore she shouldn't have said anything about it in the first
exactly.
place.
Exactly. And she's weaponizing terms that she doesn't know are weapons.
Exactly.
She's I That's why I called her a fucking grifter. She's a At worst she's a poser, at best she's a grifter. Either way, she's fucking wrong. Amanda's spicy.
I mean,
Spicy
and I
Amanda.
mean, if you want to be like, if you want to be, I get it. Like, if you don't want your comic to be classified as BL, you know what? That's fair. Because I personally never thought of Heartstopper as a BL
No.
because it isn't. Because it's a web comic. It's a Western web comic
Mm-hmm.
that has a gay couple in it. Like everything. This is also, you know what I've been saying. Like, and again, Dr. Thomas also talked a lot about this, about the mainstream becoming queered, both in the
Mm-hmm.
sense that, you know, we are queering content when we are looking
Mm-hmm.
at it and
Mm-hmm.
reading queerness into it, but
Mm-hmm.
also that, you know, you can have series like, dare I mention it again because it keeps coming up on this podcast, Yuri on Ice. It isn't a BL. It's a
It's
sports
not.
anime that has a canonically gay couple. And you have series like Tasogare, you know, Shimonami Tasogare, which is super, super good with how it represents queer characters. But it's not a BL. Number 6 isn't a BL, but they have queer characters because queer
Mm-hmm.
characters exist outside of BL. And you know,
Mm-hmm. Sorry, not sure if I'm doing this properly. You are. I was just curious because I'm a gay man and most other yaoi fans I know are women. Do you think yaoi will ever be embraced by a larger group of gay men? Excellent question. I think what you're probably looking at is this from a Western perspective.
hmm,
So in the US, there is a huge perception that BL and yaoi is a very woman focused thing.
hmm.
That is mostly perpetuated by pop culture and the fact that just usually it's the women who are creating in any sort of fandom. You see that even in shonen series where it's women who are making the fan art and the comics and the video essays that actually say something versus the men who are just making haul videos showing off that they have 60,000 copies of One Piece, and though they've never read a single one of them. So you see that it being women focused, even though there are gay men that read BL and Yaoi. There are trans men that read BL and Yaoi. There's people like me who are gender fluid
Yeah.
and aren't exactly either one. Like there's
And
androgynous people that read it. Yes.
yeah, and like and you know, we collaborated with Airy of the BL Fan Project, where you can go to the BL Fan Project's website
Mm-hmm.
and have a look at the demographics of who
Mm-hmm.
answered their surveys, and you see
Mm-hmm.
that there's such a huge span in gender identity and sexuality
Mm-hmm.
of the people who enjoy
Mm-hmm.
BL. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I, in preparation for my own panel for TotoCon,
Mm-hmm.
I read through some academic articles, including one that Dr. Thomas wrote a couple of years ago, where, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, again, this group that he was talking about, like the informants, is such a small group. It's like a group of 6 gay men, where 4 of them are Japanese, one is
Mm-hmm.
Japanese Brazilian, and one is
Mm-hmm.
Korean, but they're all living in Japan, gay
Mm-hmm.
men who identify
Mm-hmm.
as gay,
Mm-hmm.
and they all read BL as well as
Mm-hmm.
gay komi, what we know as bara
Mm-hmm.
in the West, and
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't differentiate. And he makes
Mm-hmm.
a big point out of this, that they don't differentiate between them. They refer to all of it as gay manga because it is manga that situates on gay men and gay relationship. And not everyone is attracted to the same type of story. Not everyone is
Mm-hmm.
attracted to the same type of body. You know, there
Mm-hmm.
are all of these differences, but there definitely are a lot of men who read, who consume and create BL. We talked about this in the main episode, that
Mm-hmm.
both straight as well as gay men create manga, but a lot of them use pseudonyms. We don't know the names and genders of a lot of BL creators or gay comic creators because they use
Mm-hmm.
pseudonyms. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a large group of gay men who both create and consume BL, but the focus is still so large on how it is by women for women, when
Mm-hmm.
that isn't the case at all. And I have a lot of male friend and male identifying friends who are gay who read and consume BL as well, like here in Norway. So I think it's just that, you know, the narrative is so focused on the stereotypical woman
Yes.
fujoshi.
And I also want to say, again, like to go back to my comment about it being Western, yeah, like if you do go to Japan, it is just as equally consumed by men that are straight as it is men that are gay, as it is by schoolgirls and
Mm,
businesswomen. So by
yeah,
being a Western fan, we have a very, very limited scope. And Yaoi is definitely having that problem now where you start getting into like pro ship, anti ship, that the idea that fandom is this thing that you do when you're between 12 and 17 years old. And at 18, you wrap yourself in a cocoon and you evolve into an adult who's never going to touch this shit again.
that's not how it works. Spoiler
And that,
alert.
spoiler alert, I made a card pouch for my holographic Dobby and I put a little black rose on it. Like, and I'm 32.
I mean, I hate to break this to you, but I'm not 17.
I know.
Like,
Like, don't let this dewy skin fool you. I'm a whole ass adult.
I'm
Um,
so old. I am so.
right. Like, we're fossils by fandom lore. But again, it's this perception that it's young women, and that's
Mhm.
not true.
And
Um,
yeah, and I
yes.
really like what you said when you know mentioning straight men as well, because this is another aspect. It's the soft masculinity
Mhm.
versus hyper masculinity
Mhm.
that goes for gay men as well, which was also
Mhm.
in a lot of the articles that I was reading earlier, that
Mhm.
um that gay komi and traditional media directed at gay men as an audience has been very
Mhm.
focused on the hyper masculinity, and this is connected to what I briefly mentioned about the gay versus homo debate in Japan, where gay in Japanese terms was used in the 70s and 80s, particularly very derogatory, referring to effeminate men, to transvestites, to cross dressers. And it wasn't something that gay men wanted to associate themselves with. So they used the term homo. And so when BL comes along, it perpetuates that idea that they're trying to get away from, which is why some of the activists reacted negatively to the
Mhm.
depiction. And then in the 90s, that identity politics and the queer activism from the West starts making its way into Japan, and they start adopting the term gay in a new way. So that's one thing. But then on the side of the straight men, you see that in a lot of media that is directed towards, you know, like shonen, there is an idea of what masculinity is supposed to be like. So it men are supposed to be, you know, they're the strong hero, and even if they're the underdogs, it's still a very, very typical
Mhm.
form of masculinity. But within
Right.
BL, because all the roles are filled by men, and there are different ways of expressing that masculinity, which
Right.
draws in a straight audience.
And I definitely want to bring up a point that BL is more of a label than a specific genre. So, like, actually, what came to mind immediately, and this is not going to surprise anyone, was Antique Bakery and Maiden Rose. Maiden
Shocking.
Rose, if you want to talk about your dad's World War II documentary, it's Maiden Rose. Is there some butt stuff in it? Yes, there was also probably some butt stuff in World War II. But that's about as close to tank pornography as you're going to get. Like, the fact that it's gay has nothing to do with the fact that Fusanosuke clearly spent time, energy, and hours researching these tanks, researching this combat, researching these uniforms. And conversely, Antique Bakery, where even though it happens to have this pun not intended sprinkling of gayness, it is just about a Western style cake shop. It is so easy to slot yourself into any of the main
Yeah,
characters.
yeah,
I slot
exactly.
myself angry Frenchman or the main character who's riddled with trauma.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to slot yourself into that series if you aren't looking for this hyper masculine
Mm,
depiction of
exactly.
men. It doesn't matter that it's gay at that point, especially because, again, a lot of these series are necessarily explicit. Antique Bakery, unless you get to the dojin, isn't showing any explicit gay sex. So you can literally just read it for the plot. Um, Thank you for pointing this out. Western fans are incensed when when a BL man doesn't label himself as gay. I won't say we're incensed. We're just very used to it. we're
I
we're
listen.
very used to like the Will and Grace style gay man where he
Mm.
leads in, he saunters in dick first, and he says he's gay. Every sentence ends like a vocal tick, like with "I'm gay." That's just what pop culture has taught us to
Yeah.
look.
And and I mean I'm definitely guilty of some of this because I am a dual-edged sword. I will be on one hand, I will be in that panel room talking about this and talking about how
Fuck them. Fuck them.
yeah. And I will be no, but I will be in this panel room doing a lecture on this and talking about
Yes.
how, there are different identifications and identity
Yes.
tags and all of this. And then
Yes.
I go home and I watch my little series and I scream at the screen, God damn it, you're gay. Why can't you just be
That's
gay? But
honestly same. Like I sit here and like we talked about like Dumbledore and like having like not needing Dumbledore to like
yeah.
explicitly say, and then I'm over here at the end of Sadaz on my you homos fucking kiss.
Yeah, I
You know,
know. And it's
like
and
it's so but like
but
there is this like weird duality to it is that,
yeah.
we're aware, we know, but there's also, and it goes back to like that, gatekeep girl boss gaslight and then queer
Yeah.
bait thing, um that if you don't acknowledge it and you leave it blank, there's too much room for interpretation, and when there's too
Mm,
much room for interpretation, fans fight.
yeah.
uh
And
let's see, I think more so in sense when BL men label themselves as not gay and insist they're straight.
mm,
Oh,
but
Yuki Eri.
leave him alone. He's super gay. He even says it. He even says it
How
straight.
long does it take him though to do that?
It doesn't actually take that long because he says it in the coming out scene when the media and when the paparazzis are crowding his house and they burst through the door and he's like, "I said I was gay already. What more do you want from me?" And I'm like, "Yuki!" Okay, that was today's simp session.
Once more watching two different series because in the
I
anime he never fucking acknowledges it,
but he
and
does.
he whinges for hours about how he's still
Yeah,
bisexual because
but the
he's fucked
manga.
enough women. But
But
the manga, my ass.
the manga is perfect, and
The manga created a fictional child loophole. Fuck you.
well, ignoring that, but anyway, where am I going? I was saying,
Where are you going?
you're the one who brought up Yuki. You know that my brain just goes full Shuichi if someone mentions that man. I fall apart. No, I was trying to say that.
Yes.
I was trying to say that one of the things that I've been saying a lot lately, because again, I just did a panel on this, is that in Sasamiya, there's a scene where Sasaki senpai says that he believes that there are some stories that can only be told because they are BL, right? And I absolutely agree with him because even though BL can be so subversive and it's always turning the rules on its head and everything, it does have a lot of these things that are kind of like the framework of the genre. And one of those things is that, you do have a lot of straight men. And that's not because it's internalized homophobia and inherently homophobic, but it is it's because it's only that person. Like we tend to read into it wrong. And I do this myself all the time. The whole gay for you trope. I'm not a big fan of, oh, I'm not gay. I'm just in love with you. But then there's but the point of that concept is that it's the love between those specific characters that is the focus, but it's just that we read into it in not necessarily in the way that it was intended, because it doesn't necessarily mean that he means that I'm not gay, but he can't imagine himself with anyone but this one guy. And I say that as I am fucking neck deep in season 2 of Tarn Type and screaming my way through it because these people are so stupid.
So I do want to kind of bring up this comment because I love Honto Yaju and I remember this scene, and I kind of want to go back to something that Dr. Thomas was talking about, that almost like you can consider like the Fujoshi and the Fujin like their own separate like gender identities and stuff like that. And I don't want to give the creator that much credit because I know that's not what they were thinking, because that creator, as much as I love Honto Yaju and a lot of their other work, they're old and toxic as shit because they're old and toxic as shit. They are. But it almost reminded me more of that you reach a point where sex and intimacy almost stop becoming about the individual person. And I'll get a little bit personal about that. I've dated a couple of trans men and, you know, very like pre-op trans men. And again, I'm not a trans medicalist. I'm just speaking bluntly about the fact. And I can very comfortably still say that my attraction to them, regardless of anatomy, was a heterosexual attraction of a woman to a man. So again, I am not giving Honto Yaju that much credit, but like I guess I'm a little bit less stuffy about that now because I can kind of picture that in my head is, you know, sometimes you do sort of like transcend the body.
Yeah.
You know, when you're having, you know, sex with someone. Again, not giving Honto Yaju that much credit. And I like Honto Yaju for the record. Let's see. But it's not like there's a point in the story where they accept their sexuality and come to terms with them being gay. They insist that they're straight till the very end. Yeah, because she's a bad writer. Like, that's the point. She's a bad writer.
I don't think Yamamoto Kotetsuko is a bad writer, but
I think she's bad in Honto Yaju.
I think, yeah, because Honto, I haven't finished, or, you know, it's not
because it's not done.
Ongoing. Yeah, no, I haven't read it in such a long time, and I dropped it because, you know, now it's being published officially, and I just never got back into it. So I haven't read it for like years and years and years and years.
Yeah, and that's fair.
But I do love a lot of her other work. And
I do too.
Yeah, so
I love her anatomy. But no, like I think honestly, like Honto is her worst. I think Honto is her at her worst. In the way that I think in a lot of ways, Lovers in the Night is Fumi Yoshinaga at her worst. Still love it. It's my trash. Like I said, I wouldn't care if they didn't label themselves at all. Yeah, but again, like fans need it to be satisfying. So there's an inherent tension with them saying that they're straight whilst fucking each other. There is an inherent tension with that. In the same way that there was an inherent tension with fans with Eri and Suichi, with Eri insisting that he's bisexual and being very obsessed with body count, which is toxic bisexuality at its best, is when it has to be like a 50-50, like you're like stacking beads on a scale. It's like you must maintain balance. I've slept with this many women so I can sleep with another man.
Well, he fucked that up, didn't he?
He sure did.
When he decided to get married. You don't understand. I love them so much. I'm not okay.
You can just see me not care about them at all, which is so funny. You can just see the light leave my eyes because I think that they're the worst couple.
I don't understand.
I think they're terrible together. I hate them together.
They are
the
light
hate
of
them
my life.
So
I love
much.
them.
I would be much happier if Yuki stayed fucking his own right hand and Suichi married Hiro or something.
Why must you destroy me? I'm so happy with the way things are.
I know you are. That's why you're wrong.
But I'm the one adhering to the canon. You're the one off in La La Land.
I don't give a fuck about your canon.
And here we see an example of the old Fujian way. I
don't give a fuck about your canon. Fuck your canon. I've never cared about your canon. I don't need it. Kicks cannon over side of boat, you know?
I am going to let the cat beast in. You have to entertain.
Go let the cat in. Hello, I am here to keep you guys entertained for a little while, as it is just me. But keep these questions coming. Like, I love discussions like this because, like, I totally get where you're coming from as far as Honto Yaju goes. But again, like, I don't give that much thought just because it's bad fucking writing. That was fast. Like, to me, that's just bad fucking writing. It's like, ooh. However, there's a decent debate raging in English-speaking countries about restrictive labeling too. There is a very, very fun debate going on about restrictive labeling and also having to like retroactively label. So have you seen like the Great Demisexual Purge?
No.
So there's a lot of that floating around certain parts of Twitter where now every character who does the whole like, oh, I'm gay for you, they're demisexual. And I'm not here to belittle demisexuals. I understand that demisexuality is a thing, but now we're ascribing demisexuality to a lot of fictional characters, and I find that very, very interesting. We'll leave it at interesting.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've been in the con bubble, so I've avoided.
You have been in the con bubble.
I have been. I don't want to say happy because I've been so fucking overworked, but it's been nice to be away from all the drama for a while. I was like, I came back before I got COVID, and I was like, went on Twitter, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna stay in the bubble for a little longer, and then I got COVID, and I couldn't do anything. So there's that.
I have been very, very deep in spoiler land for a few series.
Oh no.
So I've been lurking. I've been like when you see like images of frogs and they have like an eye poking out of the muck, that's me right now.
What are you lurking on?
You know what I'm lurking on.
Yeah, don't spoil anything. I don't want to know anything.
I haven't. I've been very good. I have spared you. In my infinite mercy, I have spared you so much. I've seen things.
I appreciate.
I'm like, but yeah, there's
yes. I'm dodging the bullets in my Twitter feed. I'm following like this one Miditama person, and it always takes me like a double take to realize when they are talking about actual manga things, and I'm like, nope. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, like there's a lot of different conversations that can go on with this stuff, and to bring it back to fetishizing gay men, I think it's important to acknowledge that there is its own weird form of fetishizing when we do have moments like that where you have characters that are just like balls deep in each other and refuse to call it gay sex. And like that's a problem in Western media. That's a problem in Western culture where you get like buddy bait, which is one of my favorite things.
I'm having a moment. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a whore.
No, what?
So buddy bait, especially like in cruising language, is just when you and your buddies jerk off. It's not always a circle jerk. Sometimes it's usually like lending your friend a hand. These men, though, with
just dudes being bros.
But they will insist there is no homosexuality in this.
Of course.
To their graves, if you called any of those men bi, gay, questioning, they would fight you with fists.
I don't understand the same fists that were buried in some guy 10 minutes ago.
Fists that were just doing this. That same fist.
Did we fuck up society this much? And I say we as a I didn't have anything to do with it. I just have to exist in this hellscape.
I'm certain Norwegians have contributed to toxic masculinity somehow. I just don't know how.
I mean, I'm sure we have, but I mean, we started out pretty well. The Viking society was very much equal.
There is a paper. Mythology, Virility, and Toxic Masculinity. The Case of Norwegian Black Metal from the University of Edinburgh.
I don't know if that's very representative of anything, to be honest, but
nope. We're talking about toxic masculinity in Norway now.
Okay.
Yes, they're also very homophobic, which is very funny. Again, the same guy who was just fisting his bro will also call you the F slur.
Oh, I'm so tired.
But it's funny. And like you see that also like with cruising, like having outdoor sex.
I know what cruising is.
I am talking to the audience, Carola. I know you know what cruising is, whore. I know you know what cruising is. But there are men who do cruising and will insist, no, I'm not gay. No. But it's like, but you just fucked a guy. I'm not gay. But you just fucked a guy behind a tree. Not gay.
I mean, I will say this though, like, because
Please.
I stand by this. You know, you do you, whatever. But you know, you absolutely can have gay sex without being gay, because sex is sex, and you can, believe it or not, have sex with someone who has a similar body to yours without being exclusively attracted to that gender.
You
So you know,
can.
you don't necessarily have to be gay to have gay sex,
True.
but also sometimes there's a correlation.
Yes.
Sometimes,
Yes.
like,
Also,
I'm
again,
gay, but
those are men that will call you the F slur, which is very funny to me.
why is the only thing my brain wants to serve me when we're having this conversation? I keep thinking about Angels in America and Roy Cohn, you know? Like, that's the only thing my brain wants to feed me right now. I think
You said angels in America, and my brain immediately went to Castiel, and now I'm back on Supernatural, and I hate
no,
you.
that's not what I meant.
I know
And
it's not what you
I
meant,
think
but my
I
brain went to Cass, and I don't like you for that.
I think that it's just my brain, like, low key reminding
I
me that
don't
I
want to
need to
go.
watch the National Theater live version with Andrew Garfield, but it's like 5 hours long.
I don't want to go back to Supernatural.
Don't go back to Supernatural.
I
You,
tried.
I need, I need you to stay sane, at least
I
somewhat.
tried. I got to
Yeah.
episode 1, and I was like, man, this was actually kind of good. I wonder what happens. And then they just
No,
shit the
you
bed.
already know what happens.
The car goes to heaven.
You know, I've seen one episode of Supernatural, and it was the first one, and I didn't like it, and I left it at that. And you know, uh, I don't know. But yeah, also, you know, I'm forever going to be salty because we studied Angels in America in my lit class, one of my lit classes. And they were like, this is going to be on the exam and you have to learn it and you have to learn all these psycho quotes. And so to this day, I'm running around like a nutcase, constantly thinking lumen phosphor fluor candle. And the goddamn thing wasn't on the exam.
I had to learn the rabbit language from Watership Down my freshman year
Oh
of high
my
school.
God.
And now I still know that flera means a particularly nice patch of grass, and harudadu is the word for tractor because it's mimicking
Yeah, I
the sound of
heard
a
it.
tractor.
I always heard that because I read that book for the first time last year. I know.
Fucking hate that book.
I know. And I read it for the first time last year, and all I could hear was, you know, the comedian Eddie Izzard, when
Yes.
when she would do the manual lawnmower imitation.
Yes.
That's what I kept
It's
reading.
that. Yes. Yes.
I'm being hunted. Oh no. He's so
Not
mean to me.
hunted. I
He is
know. I
hunting
know.
me. He's like
I know.
literally.
He's great though. I love that
No.
cat.
Yeah,
But
sure.
yeah, you guys, I love this conversation. If you guys have
Yeah.
any more questions or comments, let us know because you know this is what this live is here for. I forgot that I brought my bag over here, even though I said I was probably going to show them off. So my brain is dumb.
Show them
Next,
off.
oh,
What next? What?
next month to celebrate Corolla's anniversary. We're going to be talking about side characters and rare pairs because she wants to talk about Mirio and Tamaki.
I mean, I will find some others to talk about. I've been thinking, and I
We're going
think
to talk about Matt and Mello and Mirio and Tamaki for an hour and a half.
as we
And then
always do.
I might tangent about Kamui Lee and Bak Chang because love them and they're married. And you cannot tell me that they're not married.
I can't tell you because I'm not sure I know who you're talking about. Wait, who are you
D
talking
Gray
about?
Man.
Oh yeah, I was talking about D Gray Man the other day because every time that new film, you know, The Gray Man pops up in my feed, I think it's about D Gray Man, and I'm like,
It's
yeah,
not.
I was gonna read that once upon a sometime, and I never did.
It's you know what? It's like most shonen. I could not tell you that I care about the main characters. Give me what's going on with Bak Chang and his staff. Fuck yeah. What Kamui Lee's doing in the science department, building his weird sex robots? Yes. And I'm not even joking. They are canonically sex robots.
Oh,
They all have
sure.
dicks.
Well, that's interesting.
Like, that's not even a joke. All of his robots are obviously sex robots. So we're gonna so we'll be talking about side characters and stuff next month to celebrate Corolla's anniversary. Woo!
Are you
I'm not tired.
tired? I'm not tired.
Fuck off. I had a very long work week.
You're so spicy today.
I was spicy in the comments of that video with that one person.
Yeah, I was gonna refer to that comment actually, because we did.
Please.
You're talking about the comment we got on the main episode.
Yes.
Yeah, because I did write a note on that because we did get a comment that was like, what was it? It was something about how there is research written about BL being problematic and it's written by BL fans. Was that it?
Curious if you guys are reading Dangerous Convenience Store. Should I
Should
be?
we? Yeah, should we
Yeah,
be?
should
I'm
we be?
intrigued. Hello.
Yeah, shit.
Tell
Please,
me more.
please
Tell me more.
tell us more. No, that's not what the Carla, do I need to bring up the comment?
Yeah, please.
Carla, would you like me to bring up the comment?
Yeah, please read it out loud so I can respond.
I don't know why that's so funny to me. I guess I need sleep. Let's see. Let's see. There are plenty of papers written on the problematic representation of gay men in BL, and they are all written by BL fans themselves. And then do I
Yes.
need to read the response that I wrote?
I mean, you can.
Do you want me? Okay.
Yeah,
The
but
response
just-
that I wrote is that's a fair point, but I would say that the scholarship of Dr. Baudinette and other scholars like him are not diminished by the fact that they are fans. One would not look at a scholar of Da Vinci's work and say they're a simp for Da Vinci, ergo their point is invalid.
Exactly. And I think that is a very good answer. And
Thank
and
you.
the thing is, and again, you know, like I said at the beginning when before we went all unhinged, that the thing is I talk about duality a lot, right? Like that's
Mhm.
like my favorite thing to bring up on this podcast. But yeah, you know, you can be a fan of something and write about the problematics and bad representation and whatnot,
Mhm.
and be aware of that and still be a fan and still acknowledge the positive things and the changes in the field. And Dr. Thomas said, you know, he stated precisely that in the episode as well, that you
Mhm.
know it's not about whether or not the representation necessarily is good, but it's about how you apply critical thinking that the fans are consuming critically. Like that's the
Mhm.
main point. And in a lot of the research I've been reading lately from Baudinette, from someone named Kam, from Jungmin Kwon, that the future of BL academia in particular is not only looking at the historical aspects, because we tend to look at the historical aspect, but looking
Mhm.
at what is happening currently. Who are the
Mhm.
fans? How are they consuming the content? How are
Mhm.
they relating to the content? Because even
Mhm.
if we, from a genre perspective, separate between gay comi and webcomics and BL, not all fans do that, and the practices that we use to analyze and to consume and to critically consume fictional
Mhm.
content, that changes the experience, and that changes the genre itself. So even if, yeah, it can have bad representation, it can absolutely have,
Mhm.
you know, really really poor representation, but that doesn't mean that we're not able to have that conversation while also enjoying the content. And I think that that's very important. And absolutely, like, fans can call that out in their critical research,
Mhm.
but that doesn't diminish the positive research that's being, like,
Mhm.
you can have both is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I also want to say again, it goes back to that, basically that internalized homophobia and that internalized misogyny, to bring it back to, oh well, they're fans. Because again, like, my comment was, uh oh well, we're glad to have you here regardless. We hope that
Hello.
we can make the office time suck a little bit less, and thank you for your continued patronage to the show, my
It's
good
so nice to
sir.
see you.
It's so
I
nice
feel
to
like
see
it's
you.
been so long since we hung
It
out with
has.
everyone. It feels
It
like,
has. So thank you guys all for being here. And
yeah.
yes, if you become a patron of this show, you get that level of warm welcome as well. Patreon.com/the Yaoi Shelf. Uh, Daddy has to buy a new lamp.
Okay.
But, you know, because like I said, we wouldn't look at someone who studies, the pre-Raphaelites and say, "Oh, well, your work on the pre-Raphaelites is invalid because you obviously like people with red hair. Ergo, your research on the pre-Raphaelites isn't valid." That doesn't exist. Like, we wouldn't say that. We wouldn't walk up to any other scholar and be like, "Oh, you're a huge fan of Mozart, and because you're a simp for Mozart, I see that you went to Mozart's birth house. You're a simp for Mozart. Your paper on Mozart's work isn't valid."
Hmm.
We wouldn't say that about anything else. But we say it about BL because we still have all of this internalized misogyny and very external homophobia about it. And I say we collective, not we individual, because we'd never say that.
No.
What my current thoughts are, I need a new lamp and what is for lunch.
What is for lunch?
I don't know. I had Chinese yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Chinese is so good. Um, but yeah, like that comment really incensed me because one, simp for Dr. Thomas, and two, like we wouldn't say that about any other scholar. Like I couldn't imagine like being at like an academic conference and someone who just did a paper on something and being like, actually, since you're a fan of this thing, your work isn't valid. Let's see. I saw a great survey of literature comparing gay content with Yaoi BL, concluding there's a greater potential of and Yaoi BL to offer new alternatives to queer intimacy between men. Yeah, scholars have been saying that for a hot minute. And I love that because true, I got to mention in the show that I find a lot of hetero romance a smidge triggering, which is why
What?
the sound that your nose just made
I'm
was so
sorry.
very concentrated in my ear. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I have
But
a lot of allergies.
no, I do too. I do too. It's just like
I'm sorry.
But there's so many different ways to consume BL. There are so many different ways that men in BL are drawn and experience sex. Yes. Oh, the cat. He said gay media is more heteronormative. Let's see if I can find that.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, a lot of Western gay media is very heteronormative. We talked a lot. Oh my god, it was the Sime Uke episode where like there are people who will apropos of nothing just be like, "Oh, are you the top or the bottom?" Bitch, that's none of your business. Like there is a lot of heteronormativity in Western, men loving men romance. It's why a lot of gay people don't read it. It's women who read it. And again, if you want to have a real conversation about what media is fetishizing gay men, it's not yaoi. I'd point in a lot of directions that aren't that one. Because there are some real conversations we can have about what media is fetishizing gay men that I would not point in the direction of my Japanese boys kissing books. Because those fingers should be pointed. I have a few
hi,
places
Frosty.
I'd love. Huh?
No,
Frosty!
it's Frosty.
Frosty!
Hi.
It's
Yes,
true. Like
this.
it's critics of BL that lump that genre. Like it is any other genre, and there's so many different ways that you can enjoy it. Like there's historical BL. There's war. There's so much war. I don't know why everyone keeps trying to fuck during the war.
I don't know,
There's
like you want to have some, it's like what Sam says. You got to believe that there's something good in the world, and maybe that's your next orgasm. I don't know.
Isn't it the same with BL though? Sometimes people don't even refer to characters by their names. I didn't say that we were right, but yeah, that happens.
No, but the thing about that as well is if you read Kazumi Nagaike, for instance, I think it's Kazumi Nagaike. If you read oh my god, BL manga and beyond, the greatest tome written. There is a very good section on that where it discusses the gender roles or the portrayal of gender in BL. And you can argue on one side that the Seme Uke dynamics are based on traditional gender norms, with, one being more masculine and one being more feminine. But the
Mhm.
thing is that it's more that these characters are both portraying, or if there are several characters, these characters are
Mhm.
all portraying varying degrees of masculinity and femininity, because there
Mhm.
are no women. Therefore, those roles traditionally held by women need to be held by men, because everyone's male, because this is BL. But there's that, again, how the masculinity and how the femininity and how these roles are being filled, and how they are filled in relation to each other. Because yes, you have semeuke dynamics, but you
Mhm.
have, if you put a yancha uke with an hetare seme, you're going to get a very subversive version of the traditional ukeseme trope, and you have all of these variations. And that's why when we talk about pairing, that
Mhm.
the order that you put the characters' names in are so important, because that character with that character, like character A with character B, has one
Mhm.
dynamic, but character B and character C has a different dynamic. So it's
Mhm.
not about what gender they are, or who's the man or the woman. It's about who has which characteristics, and how do we view them in relation to each other based on those characteristics. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. And I want to bring up this comment as well, is that it's invalidating to a lot of gay men. And I would argue to a lot of women and those in betwixt that don't necessarily, have the straight sex, that that's not what intimacy is about. Like that's just not what sex is about. That's
Mm.
not what and a lot of the men and women that are still rooted in that are there because of societal pressure. Like you do get guys that are like, I only bottom, which means I don't pay for drinks and I wear nothing but mesh and my diet is vodka crayons and dick and poppers. Like those men exist. And I would argue that those men were created by the horrible, shitty society that encourages that kind of man to continue to exist. Not invalidating them, just simply acknowledging. Let's see. It's Gay Intimacy, a response piece by Laredo. I cannot pronounce that name, 2021.
I'm
He deals with top and
screenshotting
bottom.
it so I
Oh,
can
excellent. Thank you
I
very
can look at
much.
it.
Um,
Thank you.
thank you. We love this shit. We love this shit.
This is
Um,
such a good live. I'm having such a good time.
yeah, you guys are doing great. We appreciate you. So, I mean, we appreciate you always. Um,
It's really
I don't know
fun to
where my
have, like a back and forth conversation, though, that
yes.
people are being so active in the chat.
Listen, if you've been to Pride in America, you know exactly what man I'm talking about. You've seen him. You've probably purchased drugs from him.
Oh
Like
my god.
you know that man.
I am slightly concerned about that man's diet, because,
It is dick and poppers
that sounds
and vodka crayons.
unhealthy.
It
And
is dick
also
poppers and vodka crayons.
and also it doesn't sound like he's getting enough fiber. From what I've heard, it's like if you're bottoming exclusively, you need to get enough fiber.
So there's a guy on TikTok and he has like a whole cookbook. It's called the Bottom Friendly Diet. And while I appreciate that, if bottoming means giving up dairy, I am now exclusively a service top.
I thought that was, your preferred position anyway.
I mean, it is, but I'm never bottoming again if I have to give up dairy. Are you saying that I can't have mac and cheese if I bottom? Yeah, fuck that.
I mean, sure you can. You just have to be celibate for the period of time it takes you to process.
If you are saying mac and cheese or anal, I'm choosing mac and cheese 8 times out of 10. Like, I'm just saying, if those are the choices, if we're weighing the options, it's a fork in a road. I have two paths, and it's mac and cheese, ice cream, cheesecake, and nachos, or anal sex that I'm on the receiving end of.
I mean, personal preference. I'm not a big fan of, but then
I'm
again,
choosing the
like,
mac and cheese.
yeah,
I'm
no,
choosing the mac and cheese almost every other time. But like, oh my god, yeah, I love his TikToks where it's like, yeah, you want to have like insoluble fibers and you want to drink a lot of water because that can cause bloating because otherwise you'll get bloated. And then no dairy. We're gonna have like this cashew nutritional yeast mac and cheese, and it's
That
like,
sounds disgusting.
I'd rather die. I'd rather fucking die.
I mean, you do
Like,
you, I guess. I don't.
yeah, you do you, I guess, but like, kill me.
I'm just saying that Mr. Popper's vodka dick over there maybe needs to eat something else once in a while because I don't think like your body's not thanking you at that point. Like you need
What do you think
some
most BL characters are eating? Do you think Mello has a balanced diet?
what? No. And I was like, no, most of them they survive
They
on
eat cigarettes,
booze and cigarettes.
and food.
Yeah, and then
You a literal vampire who eats nothing but cigarettes, booze, and other people.
and strawberry shortcake because that's his favorite food.
Because he's a homosexual.
It's just
Because he's
these
a homosexual.
diets. It's not good. It's not good.
What does Ryuichi eat?
Sugar
I don't think that's healthy.
and probably speed because I don't think.
What does Ryuichi eat? What is at the end of How to Read Volume 13, there was like L's food diary, which felt very, very toxic.
I haven't read it because I'm afraid I'll feel like called out. Like I don't eat a lot of sweets, but if you ask me what I've been consuming while I was sick, it's like.
But it's like I would love to write like food diaries of certain like characters. It's like, what did you eat during the day?
I want to read like what did you eat yesterday, but with all my different BL couples because none of them are doing okay.
None of them are eating food.
Like it's not. No. And again, like there are so many pastry chefs in the BL world. Like these boys need to eat something that isn't cake because
Now you hold on there a second.
I'm just saying, eat something fried. Eat.
No, you hold on right there. I love cake. Cake is delicious.
I'm not a big cake fan because I like spicy things and salty things and not really sweet things.
But yeah, like this has been honestly an amazing conversation. I'm so glad that we got to have it. I'm excited to do this again next month where we celebrate Curla's anniversary and talk about the same 3 characters that we've been talking about for a year. Where we talk about the exact same 3 characters that we've been talking about for over a year. Will there be any surprises? Probably not. Yes.
I highly doubt it.
Will there be any surprises? Most likely not.
I need to think about my favorite side. I know that there are others. It's just that since Miritama came into my life, I've just
Belated TMI warning. Oh, for me or for something else?
For the comment
right?
further up.
Oh! I mean, we can. We can also talk about that.
Oh, you just want to talk about Antique Bakery. Because, but listen, now I'll have more time. So I'm going to read the manga at long last. And then we can actually talk about it. Like, I am game. I'm just saying. Like, if you want to do an Antique Bakery episode, I'll be...
I've been trying to get you to do an Antique Bakery episode since you came on the fucking show.
Yeah, but I gotta friggin' read it! And now I can. Because now...
Let's table over.
Now I have time again. And I have... Ow!
See? That was God. That was Horus.
That was Horus! How's your demon doing?
I think he opened my fridge.
Oh my god.
For those of you who are new to the show, my apartment is haunted.
Since today, apparently.
No, it's been haunted since I moved in.
Dear.
It throws Pop-Tarts. So yeah, I think it opens the fridge, but I don't want to get up. Is Antique Bakery finally available again somewhere?
No, I thrifted it.
I don't think it is legally. I do not think it is legally available anywhere. Do not tell me that Antique Bakery came out in 2008. Fuck you, IMDb.
Listen. What, the manga? That can't be right.
Yeah, the manga came out in 2008.
Really? I thought it was
Yeah,
older, actually.
fuck you.
Like I said, you're being very spicy today. You said fuck you to me like 5 times.
I said it twice. I'm not bullying you.
Vocal. I'm being verbally
You are
abused.
not. No, you are not. Tell this person who's being abused they're not being abused.
There's a conversation to be had.
I think you can buy the box set on Right Stuff.
Like, what are you talking about? Like the manga? Or
Yeah, the
the
manga you're
series?
not going to get anywhere that isn't thrifted, but I think you
Yeah.
can buy like the DVD box set.
Yeah, because the only reason, like, this is the reason why I haven't read it, because, you know, I'm relatively sure that
Oh, you can get the manga on Right Stuff, and
Wow.
I think you can. Yeah,
Well, I mean, I can't because they don't ship here, I think. But
you can get 2 volumes of the manga on Right Stuff,
oh
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
2 and 3. I don't think Crunchyroll would have. Listen, I am trying. Me and my loud ass keyboard.
I was just looking at Jamie's comment, and I was like, yes, I've
Have you
seen
seen-
those. I have seen those, and I have questions.
I don't
Parrot
have any
says cat
questions.
voice.
I don't have any questions. I've never had questions.
No.
But I do love in all of my lurking continued nonsense about how much people will do pro ship anti ship stuff but they'll still ship, which doesn't make any sense to me. Because like there are artists that still draw like shippy art, but then they'll say don't engage if you're pro ship anti ship, but you're still doing shipping. What does that mean?
I mean, this is just a hot take. I think it means they don't know what pro ship means, because like
Also, there's a webcomic that I was reading that made a reference. I saw those and I did an image search of Cat Boys.
Why were you
Huh?
searching for cat boys, Frosty? That sounds a little.
You know
Sounds
why
a little
Frosty's
shady.
searching for Cat Boys. There's a little like fan comic that I was reading about a certain pairing, and in one of the panels there is a reference to the jar, and I hate that we're back to acknowledging what the jar is.
The jar?
Oh, sweet angel.
No, there's a bell ringing.
Please don't make me be the one that has to unlock this memory for you.
I can Google it.
Don't Google it. Do not.
Okay.
No.
Is this?
I'm so glad you are wearing bangles and I heard that. You know what the jar is.
I've blocked this out of.
You know what it is.
I know what it is.
And if I have to tell you, you're going to be mad at me. And you can't Google it because I can't save you and you can't go to heaven after that.
You really think I'm going to heaven?
You know what the jar is.
I probably do. I do.
When you put your favorite character in the jar.
See, now we're having one of those awkward silences again.
You jerk off and jizz into the jar and you cover your favorite character and cum.
Okay! Okay, that isn't as bad as I thought it was.
Falls out of
this is
chair.
why I'm not going to heaven. I'm
Falls
sorry for being so
falls
dense.
out of the goddamn chair.
I'm going to blame it on having had COVID. I mean, I was doing really well, but I'm going to milk that for all it's worth. No pun intended. I'm sorry, I'm just hell-bent on killing you today.
I hate you. I hate you.
No, you don't. This is why you wanted me on the podcast.
I almost died on the show today. First, the demon is trying to find something in my fridge, and now
Why don't you feed your demons? Like, what kind of
I
host are you?
throw something. Let's see. Do you guys have cross series ships? I have a recurring ship fantasy where CL Phantom I'm telling Inuyasha to sit boy over and over again until someone explodes. Okay, I don't have a lot of those, but I would pay cash money to see that.
I have some, and for the love of me, I can't remember any of them in
That's
this
usually how it
specific
goes.
moment. But no, because the first thing, because I know that you haven't joined me in watching the absolute magnificent piece of art that is Kim Porsche, okay? But I'm in hell. And it's been, I don't know, like 3 weeks without Kim Porsche, 4 weeks. I can't live. Point is, I have unlocked a new, completely sacrilegious ship and I can't unsee it. So, okay, so in Kin Porsche, there are several pairings, and most of them are horrible. But there's Kim, who is Kin's little brother, and then Vegas, who is an asshat. Everyone loves him. I hate him. I love the actor. I just don't like Vegas. And I recently started watching a new Thai BL series called Love is in the Air. And there's this guy named Payu, and he looks like the love child between Vegas and Kim, and I cannot. This is my new sacrilegious ship. I just Vegas and Kim. I mean, they're in the same series, but they don't have any scenes together. So like, they might as well be on different planets, as far as I'm concerned. And they're cousins, but it's fine. I found their love child. I will not let this go. That was not what anyone asked, but hello, welcome to my brain. And I said this to my girlfriend, and she was like, oh, come on, Kim doesn't deserve it that bad. You can't pair him with Vegas. I'm like, listen here. No hate if anyone actually ships Vegas Pete. I know that most people do. I just can't stand him and I want to break his face.
See, I don't really think that I have a lot of like none that aren't OC things. But like I don't really cross a lot of characters like that very much. Just because I remember reading this when I was younger. It was like a Tsubasa, Inuyasha, and something else like multific, and it just broke my brain so bad that like I never gave myself space to even consider that shit again. Um, I do like the idea of a lot of characters that are very, very similar meeting and seeing like if they would get along or if they would just hate each other very much.
Oh no, yeah, I have, but it's not a ship really. It's I
Yeah.
want to see. I love the concept of taking the main couples from Fugo Keiji, Billionaire Detective, and
Mhm.
Laurent and Makoto from The Great Pretender, and Jeweler Richard and his boy toy, and putting them in the same series, because the concept is so funny to me, because it's like you have a con man, you have a cop and his rich cop dude, and then you have the jeweler who solves cases, and it's like it's the best thing. I just want this crossover. I want these three couples to just
Yes. Just
yes.
like this.
Yes.
Because like what I imagine also like I would love to see like a gay Olympics where it's like Yuri on Ice, Free Tsurune, and like Yawamushi Pedal. I'd love to see like a gay Olympics.
Yes.
I'd love a gay Olympics, and like knowing that like most of these guys would probably hate each other. Like Sosuke is just picking fights.
I mean, that's what he does, isn't it? That's what that man does. He just fucking appears and starts.
Like Sosuke is just picking fights with everyone.
That bitch and his shoulder.
Oh, wait, listen.
I'm fine.
Like I am very enamored with that of like these characters are basically the same person, and I would
Yeah,
love for them to meet.
I want to see. I would, God forbid, because the world would implode. But give me Uchi and give me Toi and Yurio in the same friggin' scene. They're the same person. Uchi's just it felt wrong. the demon, the demon didn't like that. Oh no.
The Olympics are always gay if you're doing it right. That
True,
is
true. Have you seen those two? I don't know if they're still active, but there were these two Japanese volleyball players who became famous because they would like pick fights with each other on the field every time during a match, and then they would always kiss.
Are we
afterwards.
allowed to sexualize that one Japanese figure skater yet?
No! Leave him alone! He is listen, we are not going to talk about him because then it's going to turn into that time when I started talking about G for 15 minutes. Is that what you want?
Are we allowed to sexualize him? Is he old enough to be sexualized?
I mean, yes,
Computer, is he old enough to be sexualized?
he is a grown ass man. He's 27, but you know,
Oh, awesome.
He's an ethereal beauty, and he is literally the Haru of the world, but instead of being obsessed with water, it's just him and the ice. So, you know, he's in his own little world. We're not going to talk about him. Do you realize that figure skating season is coming? And I am so fucking stressed.
I mean, I think he just is Yuri.
What? No.
I don't think it's cosplay.
No. I just want to shut that down like right away, because if anyone at all is similar in figure skating is similar to Yuri, it's Shoma. Because the way that Shoma's career has worked is just, I love that man, but Jesus Christ. But yeah, no, Yuri is based on a variety of characteristics, and he's not based on one single figure skater. And there was a figure skater who cosplayed Yuri, but it wasn't him.
I love watching you melt down.
Yes. But the season is coming, and I'm just like, okay, so Yuzu retired, so I don't have to have a stroke every time I'm watching anymore because I don't need to be that stressed. But you bet your ass I'm going to be stressed. The Grand Prix season, it's coming. Anyway,
this is like my favorite thing is watching Corolla get worked up. I'll just have you guys know. This is like my favorite thing to do is watching her get worked up.
And then silently contemplating why I am allowing myself to do this on the internet.
Yeah, because you always do. And then but it's already happened.
This is me having a real life meltdown.
Yeah, it's a blast. It's one of my favorite things. But yeah, like now that I think about it, like there probably are some series that I could have thought of that I'd really love to see crossover when my brain was a little bit, you know, slicker with that stuff. It's very dumbed down now, and I get angry thinking about it. But when I was a teenager, I probably loved shit like this. Like if I were to go back and like read some of my old like fanfic, I probably did that shit all the time.
Oh, like, I would love to see, but again, like these aren't ships. They're just like crossovers that I think would be fun. Like I want to see a crossover with the Hero Academia universe and One Punch Man.
I do not want to see that at all.
Because it's just
I have negative interest in seeing that.
I mix up some of the like minor characters in these series so much. I'll be watching One Punch Man and I'm like, oh right, he's in that series, not in. So I would think I think that would be fun. And also I would love to see, because they have a similar feel, except one is a lot crazier than the other. But I want to see Tsuritama and Sara Sanmai crossed over because I love them both so much for similar reasons. Tsuritama is amazing. It's the gay fishing anime, and I love it.
I didn't say it was bad.
It's so good.
Words. I did not. You're not putting words in my mouth. I didn't say it was bad. What I didn't say is.
You said nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I said nothing.
But your silence spoke volumes.
My silence did speak words. Yeah, I mean, if I really have to give a thought, someone that I would love to see crossover and like ship. Bear with me, but there is a world where I would love to see Yuki Eri with George from Paradise Kiss.
Oh.
Because they're just both a little fruity enough for them to have.
George is canonically bisexual, though, so I mean, I wouldn't be opposed.
Oh, thank you for that being the reason you allow this unholy thing to happen. That is basically just two men doing cocaine off of each other's dicks. I appreciate it.
I'm allowed to have dubious preferences.
I love George. He's amazing.
I mean, he is amazing. Like I said, like I love Parakizu and I love it, but I've always wanted to know more about George and Seiji. that stylist from
It's
episode 1.
the only shoujo that I can ever say I've ever loved.
I love it so much.
It is the only shoujo that I can ever say I have loved. Oron has always been a massive disappointment because they never kept it gay.
You know how I feel. I watched Oran for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's what I'm sticking to. I didn't realize that Oran was supposed to be, you know, about whatever romance they were trying to perpetuate between Haruhi and whoever, because I was there for the twins.
Well, yeah, that's why you watch the anime where it remains stupid and ambiguous.
Until the last episode. Whenever I read, yes, exactly. And
that's all we have are judgment faces. We're very good at that.
But we scream a lot. Like we scream at each other a lot.
We do. Oh, man. See, my brain is let's put a pin in that, because gravitation, technically.
I mean, technically, all BL is shoujo because BL started out as a subgenre of shoujo.
Am I crazy? But I think Spike from Cowboy of an L would be interesting. That would be a conversation with no words.
I think I would like to see. I mean, and based on aesthetics only, Spike Spiegel and is it his name Mugen from Samurai Champloo?
They're the same character because it's supposed
to
be
they're the same character.
But yes,
so,
I'd love to
see
that.
Essentially, it's self-cessed, and I would like bring it.
So my self-cessed one is Taki Ryzen from Maiden Rose and Roy Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because they're the same character. I don't know who tops in that instance. I'm assuming Mustang.
They fight it out, and then...
Yeah, they fight it out with swords, I guess. And Havoc and Klaus are there, just tired. It's just our boys.
I think, yeah, but it's the same thing. Like if you had Toy and Yurio in the same, in the same scene, it's just self-cessed. They're the same person.
See, I don't think Toy is as loud as Yurio.
No, and I mean he's more traumatized, whereas Yurio is just bitchy,
obnoxious.
I love him, that little angry Russian child.
I also love that angry Russian child. I have nothing negative to say about the angry Russian child.
Of course not.
I wish he was the main character. I wish Yuri would go fall in a ditch.
Leave Yuri alone. He has a lot on his mind.
I wish he'd go fall in a ditch.
You hate a lot of main characters.
Almost like they're written poorly and are intentionally uninteresting, so you can self-insert and feel something because of your sad, pathetic life in the real world. I don't need that shit. I want the angry Russian child to win.
But he won!
He needs to win more.
For all my love for Yurio, I was upset when he won. Because, I get invested in this in the same way that I get invested in real life figure skating. So, I have my favorites. But in this case, I needed Yuri to win because they were going to get married. And I was like, Yurio, I love you, but how the fuck dare you take this wedding away from me? I was grasping at...
By being better in every way.
But that's how figure skating works. And it's except in Yuri on Ice, the scoring system actually worked, and not like whatever the hell they're doing now, because what the hell, ISU, okay. I can't, and they're changing the fucking rule book again, and now it makes even less sense. Why don't you just call it jump skating then? I'm fine.
I don't think you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, like you say that. I really don't think that you are.
I wasn't kidding when I say that I'm obsessed with figure skating. I'm fine. I can't. This has nothing to do with fetishizing gay men. Now it's just, what are we even doing at this point?
It's been over an hour. This is usually when we start going a little crazy. Would you guys like to see some Ita bags?
Yes.
Oh,
save me.
So this is the Hawks one. Let's see if I can get a good zoom in.
So cute.
Yes, and I love the wings.
Oh my
This
god.
was with the Hustle Fashion zine. It was worth every penny. The wings come off, which is amazing. Worth absolutely every single penny I spent on that zine. There's a lot of red lining inside of it, which is excellent. Come for the yaoi, stay for the figure skating hot takes. Like honestly, that's the show, but just really just stay for the hot takes
Yeah.
because that's what we have. We have a lot of those. Let me see if I can remember how to do snaps. I have a degree.
Okay.
Listen, it's
A
been a
degree
very
in
long week.
snaps.
Yes, and then this is. We're gonna flip this down. This is the Dobby one that I've been working on because I don't have a favorite character. I
I
don't know what
say
you're
that
talking about.
I say
I
that
don't
as if
love this
I
man.
haven't seen it because like you showed it to me in the Patreon.
Yeah, I don't love this man. No, I don't have a type or a favorite. Clearly not. I don't know what any of you
No.
whores are talking about. Carla, would you like to tell the listeners at home some of the benefits that they can get by being a patron of this illustrious show?
I mean, apart from completely unhinged and but also very good and interesting bonus episodes. Uh, uh. I don't know what I was going for there, but you know, we I don't know. Leave me alone. I'm trying to pitch. I mean, clearly I'm not. The patrons get cool bonus episodes, okay?
Mhm.
That we work hard on, and particularly the one we did last week I thought was really good. I think it was very nice. And we actually didn't lose our minds until like the last 15 minutes or something. So
This is true.
this is true. So unhinged bonus episode, uh,
Hmm.
bonus episodes, and uh, and also some goodies. You can get Patreon exclusive goodies.
Yes. Again, you can do so at patreon.com/slash the Yaoi Shelf. We greatly appreciate your Patreon support. Thank you to our patrons and thank you to our listeners in general. We are currently sitting at, let me go to the dashboard, 12,000 plays, which is a number that blows my mind. Bonus episodes are based, as the kids say. Yes, they are. They are bussin'.
If I knew what that word meant, I would agree with you. But
They are. They are bussin'. They are based. They're
stairs
very
and
poggers.
boomer.
Yeah, they're very poggers. Love
Don't
it.
say poggers. I don't understand
There's
anything.
the poggest.
I have to ask my token young friend about these words.
Nope, they're bussin'. No
Do
L's here.
you
I ended up
understand that?
speaking. I ended up speaking crypto bro language to a friend, and he was like, "Who taught you crypto?"
Do we need to have an intervention?
No.
Okay, you're
But
sure.
yeah, I was speaking crypto slang to one of my friends, and he was like, "Who the fuck taught you crypto?" I was like, "Internet."
And then
Just
you
like,
do. Like,
yeah, you do a little owl dance,
oh
and it's
no.
like the internet.
And you want to get at me for my little shoulder wriggle? Like, really? Really?
I love it. I love your little shoulder wiggle. It's so cute, but no, it was like,
More on
yeah,
that on Patreon.
yeah, I used a hodl, and he was just like, "Who taught you crypto?"
I also remember Pogs, but I never played it correctly.
I don't remember how to play it.
No, I
Is there?
mean we used to stack them. We stacked them upside down, and then you threw the slammer on the stack, and then if they flipped around,
Oh,
you won them. But I don't know if that was the correct way to play. Because I also remember playing Pokemon cards with, you know, the little glass rocks that came with it, like the things you put in the bottom of fish tanks.
oh,
I
the
don't,
counters. I was like,
yeah,
"What the fuck?" I
no,
was like,
but we would go because you know in the booster, not the booster packs, but like the big packs. There would be one of those, and then we would go to like the pet store and just like buy these shiny rock like things that looked
yeah,
like
to
that.
use them as like counters.
Yeah, but what we did was we played it like marbles. So we would like because we didn't know how the game worked. So we would like stake cards and be like, okay, so this is my card, and if you hit my little glass rock with your glass rock, then you win the card. That was how we played because we didn't know how to play the actual card game. So there was that. In back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth.
I think this was a phenomenal live.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this was
This
good
was
life.
great. Thank you all for being here. We will see you again next month for another episode. We have some very, very cool stuff coming up in the coming months. We
Yes.
also
I'm so excited.
we're also looking at expanding some of our merchandising options. So if there is a particular merch item that you guys have been dying for us to carry and to stock, let us know.
Yes.
Because we've really wanted to step up our merch game for a while now. And
But we don't know what people want, so
yeah, because we can know what we want all day long. The problem is
Lemon.
that we are not
Lemon. I'm sorry. It's like I feel like you're trying so hard right now to like make a sentence, and I'm like this yapping dog.
love. I could have never. I have designed so many things for this show, and if I ever knew that that one lemon was going to be the thing,
my life. I love it so much, Lemon-kun. I love you.
oh my god, Pogs, we're so
Pogs. Oh my god. I heard that Pogs were making a comeback.
I mean, so is polio apparently. So we don't... apparently, so is polio. So
God. Yeah, no, but similarly, if there's anything you guys want us to talk about or guests we should bring on or anything, like we want to hear from you. Like, what do you want to hear? What do you want to?
Yeah, if you're a creator or artist or anyone, life-size uke dolls, so approximately 4 feet, 80% eyes,
stares in European.
Oh my god. 4 feet. Do you want meters or centimeters?
Centimeters, thank you.
121 point 122. 122.
Okay.
Fuck you. So approximately 122 centimeters, 80% eyes. Just sits in the corner, contributes nothing.
Looks sad.
Looks sad.
Sad but strangely seductive.
Comes with 3 accessories, a single stick of strawberry pocky, a book with no pictures or words, and a bird to be symbolic.
Oh my god. Why? Okay, so now we just need a sweatshop business to make these for.
I don't know if we have enough silicone in the world left to make these.
God. No, I was thinking ragdoll. It should be like a ragdoll because they're so you can throw them around.
Just yeet. Just flopper. Oh, that makes me. So
the thing is, for all my love, all the love that I have for them, I still think that there legitimately is a chance that Yuki would just pick Shuichi up and like throw him like a fucking weapon, like a projectile.
So when I was a kid, my family got me a life-size rag doll that was about, I want to say, I need to check my math because I think it's a meter. Yeah, so it was about a meter high, about 3 feet. So it was the same size as me. So I'm just dragging around this doll. That's my height.
And it was a rag doll?
Yes.
I got a doll that was like, actual, like plastic doll, like a poseable doll. Like everything was, because some dolls have like the plastic arms and legs and head, but then they have like
Mhm.
their torso is like rice stuff something. But I got this doll that was likewise my height, my size, like a huge ass girl doll that I inherited, that my mom had when she was a kid. But when I got it, my mom had already owned it, and she actually liked to play hairdresser when she was a kid. So she'd cut all her hair up. So this doll looked like a nightmare. And my mom's like, "Here you go. You can have her. Just don't take her hat off because she looks horrible. And she looked like a monster." I
I do
don't like
remember
dolls.
also as a child, I got a meter high chocolate rabbit.
Chocolate. Did you eat it? Because I was that
Yes.
kid who would save, like, if you gave me something
No.
like that, I would save it because I
No.
would be.
I immediately was just gnawing on that thing like a rabid Wolverine. Just the minute my parents pulled that foil off, just, and it wasn't hollow; it was solid.
Oh my
Because usually when
god!
they're that
Yeah,
big,
because
they're
usually
hollow.
they're hollow.
No, this was solid, 3 foot solid chocolate rabbit.
My god!
The minute my parents unwrapped the foil, just like a fucking Wolverine, just
What kind of
ears
gremlin
closed.
were you? Jesus Christ!
I was my parents' only child. I was the oldest out of all the cousins, and I was the first grandchild. You know exactly what kind of gremlin I was.
I am also the first grandchild on one side.
But I was my parents only, and then the oldest of the cousins. I had a slide that went in my bedroom that I could slide into bed. My
Wow.
grandpa found me on the top of the fridge one day eating cereal with my hands. And he left me up there.
Well, I mean, you got up there.
Exactly.
You're capable. It's fine.
Exactly. That's what he says. Like, you got up there. You'll figure it out. They started giving me coffee when I was a toddler.
Oh my god, that explains some things, I think.
Can I help you?
No.
Is there something I can do for you?
No.
But thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Thank
We
you so much.
appreciate it. We will see you next month. Be safe. There is a lot going on in the world right now. So please be careful, be safe, stay informed. We are here for you. Applicable links to everything will be somewhere in the description. And we're still running that little charity thing for Freya because they murdered Freya for some reason.
Welcome to Norway, where nothing gets to live. We
Yeah.
just shoot everything.
Yep. And yeah, that's where we are. So we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, see you next
Bye.
time. Bye. Thanks for hanging out.